Konnichiwa, minasan. My name is Dr. Choi, and you can call me Choi Sensei, because in Japanese, the children would call the teacher Sensei. So my name is Choi Sensei. What is your name? Yeah, welcome everyone. So today in the Japanese club, what we're going to do, we're going to look at Japanese writing. Japanese writing uses very different alphabets to the English alphabet, although they do sometimes use English letters. And what we're going to do, we're going to use examples of anime titles that you should be familiar with to see the different types of writing in Japanese and see if you can recognize the different types of writing in other titles. So if you join this club, you must like Japanese culture. So that means you would be familiar with some of the manga and anime that you can see on the slide in here. And you can see that the logos are written in all sorts of different writing. You have some English letters in there, sometimes numbers come up, but also lots of Japanese characters. Now, the Japanese characters come in different groups. So we will have a look at how you can recognize them. Please put in the chat if you can recognize any of the characters and where they come from. Yeah, so some of you said that they look like Chinese characters. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So let's have a look at this example. So does anyone recognize this anime? This is actually a manga cover. So that's the cover of the comic book. Anyone watches that? Yeah, put your hand up if you have seen it. Yeah, keep your hand up if you like it. Excellent. Yeah, My Hero Academia. Now, so bonus points for anyone who can tell me what's the title in Japanese. Yeah, you can put it in the chat. Boku no Academia. Boku no Hero Academia. Boku no Hero Academia. So it doesn't say my, it says boku no. Boku means I, normally for boys. It's used normally for boys. Boku no Hero Academia. So you can see there's some English in there. It's just the word my is different. So we'll have a look at these different types of characters, so keep an eye on them. Now, so Japanese writing is based on Chinese writing. So some of the Japanese characters that are called kanji, the characters that's based on originally Chinese writing, and they arrived to Japan around the 4th century. And at that time, only the Chinese characters were used in Japanese writing. Now, at the moment, the Japanese have 2 other alphabets, plus using English letters and numbers. Can you guess how many kanjis do you need to know to be able to read fluently, for example, a newspaper? 200? 10,000? 1,000? Yeah, about 2,000–3,000 characters. So what does that look like? Well, these would be the sort of characters that you would have to learn, right? So you can see this is a lot of characters. Now, you can see that some of them are very complicated, but some of them are quite simple. So you would start learning from the simpler characters and then increase the number of characters to the more complicated ones. Some Japanese people know more characters than this. Some of them know a little bit less than this. And as you learn, you build up your amount of kanjis. Now, kanjis have meaning and have at least 1 or 2 pronunciations. So that means each of the characters carries a meaning. So, for example, there's a very simple character here somewhere. There's one that looks like a cross, just the 2 lines like this. That means 10, which is ju. So it's got a pronunciation and a meaning, not like English letters that just have pronunciation. So can you recognize in any of the characters in here, which of the characters could be kanji? Yeah, the first character is kanji. It means me, boku. Well, the Japanese writing has 2 more systems. I said that before. So it has a Hiragana and Katakana. You might have seen them before. They're much simpler characters than the kanji. And the other difference is they don't carry any meaning. They work a bit like letters in English. But sometimes they can represent a single sound like I. Sometimes they represent a whole syllable like no, su. and they often used for Japanese words. For example, when you're learning Japanese as a child, you start with these characters rather than the kanji because they're easier, and also for the grammar. So this is the amount of hiragana that there is, so much, much, much fewer than kanji. So people start learning Japanese from learning this hiragana. And you can see they're quite rounded characters, but they're much simpler than the kanji. Can you recognize any hiragana characters here in the title, My Hero Academia? Yeah, very good. The second character, you can see it's much simpler than the kanji, and it's rounded. But all the other ones, they're not rounded. They're still quite simple, but they're not rounded character. So what are those? Anyone knows the name? Yeah, you've seen them a lot in anime. Yeah, that's true, because they come up everywhere in the title. Sometimes you can see the city signs and the adverts, and they come up in this writing. So this alphabet is called katakana. Katakana is also like hiragana, used for sounds. They don't carry meaning, but they're used for writing foreign words. So words that didn't come from Japanese originally. So for example, academia is the word from English. Hiro is the word from English. So they use those characters to write the English words. So you would use those characters also to write your name in Japanese. So you can see they're quite straight lines, they're quite angular, and they're relatively simple characters as well. And this is all the katakana that there is to memorize. So you can see which characters here would be katakana. Yeah, this whole lot. So Hiro Academia will be in katakana. So just to finish off, a last challenge. So I give you a few seconds to try to recognize in the titles, so just the titles of these two anime, can you recognize the different types of characters? Okay, so let's start with kanji. Can you recognize the kanji? Okay, so you can check if your guess is correct. Yeah, very good. And what about the katakana? Can you find the katakana? So you can see that in here, because the font is a little bit more rounded, they don't look as angular as on the font that I showed you before, but this is the katakana. And what about hiragana? Yeah, these rounded characters over there. So then that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Arigato. So thank you very much. And Jamata, I will see you in the next session.